All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Because look, mastering advanced business English, it's not just about memorizing endless grammar rules. It's really about nuance, precision, and confidently navigating those highly complex corporate environments. So whether you're an ambitious professional looking to refine how you communicate, or maybe you're using this as a dedicated English learning and listening explainer to really train your ear, you are exactly in the right place. Today, we're going to unpack the actual terminology used by top-tier executives.
So here is our roadmap for today's masterclass. We'll start with the human dimension, move into mastering strategic thinking, cover tech and the internet, look at tracking financial performance, and finally, wrap up with navigating business etiquette.
All right, part one, the human dimension.
Before a company can even start strategizing about profits, we have to establish our foundation, right? Now, today's concepts and vocabulary are drawn directly from a highly respected text from Cambridge University Press called Business Vocabulary in Use Advanced by Bill Muskol. And this material is specifically designed for advanced learners who really want to bridge that gap between standard textbook English and actual real-world boardroom fluency.
When we're talking about the modern workplace, basic terms honestly just don't cut it anymore. You need to confidently deploy phrases like emotional intelligence, equality, and diversity to describe how forward-thinking companies actually empower their talent. And notice the very specific distinction under motivation here: hygiene factors versus motivators. Now, in advanced business English, hygiene factors refer to your basic needs, things like a decent salary or safe working conditions. They basically just prevent dissatisfaction. But motivators? Those are the elements like recognition and personal growth that literally drive a team forward. As an English learner, mastering these exact categorizations shows a really deep understanding of corporate culture.
Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Strategic Thinking.
Okay, so elevating our perspective up to macro-level business vocabulary, precision is absolutely everything. Pay close attention to the pronunciation and usage here. Strategy. Now, it's a word we hear every single day, sure, but it dual functions in a very specific way. As a countable noun, it's a specific plan, or a series of plans, to beat competitors. But as an uncountable noun, it actually refers to the academic field of study taught in business schools. Knowing when to use it as a tangible plan versus an abstract concept, that is a hallmark of an advanced speaker for sure.
So what does strategic success actually mean? Well, in the commercial world, this vocabulary directly links the concept of success to hard numbers, specifically profitability. It isn't just about making money, it's about the amount of money made in strict relation to the amount of money invested. When you're listening to financial reports or speaking up in a meeting, framing success around profitability rather than just revenue instantly elevates your professional tone. It really does.
To sound truly fluent when you're discussing markets, notice the contrasting verbs we use. Market dynamics are rarely static, right? A new government regulation might encourage or intensify competition, which makes the market more vibrant. But conversely, a massive corporate monopoly might stifle or harm competition. For those of you using this as a listening exercise, practice hearing that subtle difference. The word stifle, for instance, implies suffocating or preventing something from growing, which paints a very vivid, almost physical picture during a business negotiation.
Let's switch gears a bit. Section 3, Tech and the Internet.
Let's dive into the digital tools of the modern business day and clarify some tech terminology that honestly often trips up non-native speakers. Listen closely to this essential word, bandwidth. Literally, it refers to your internet connection speed. Higher bandwidth is what allows for seamless video conferencing without that dreaded awkward lag. But metaphorically, in advanced business English, professionals use bandwidth to refer to their own mental capacity or their available time. You might hear someone say, you know what, I just don't have the bandwidth to take on this project right now. Understanding both that literal and figurative meaning is incredibly useful.
And for the language learners out there navigating IT or marketing, notice the exact distinction between these two everyday words. Streaming happens in real time. The media plays as it arrives over the internet, and it's not saved to your local device. Downloading, on the other hand, means the file is permanently saved to your computer or your local network, making it accessible offline, over and over. In a professional IT context, mixing these two up could completely change the meaning of a product rollout, so you gotta get it right.
All right, on to Section 4, Tracking Financial Performance.
As our hypothetical workday rolls on, we inevitably have to analyze the bottom line. Finance is the absolute bedrock of business. At its core, the word finance describes the overarching system of exactly how money is made, lent, and utilized by an organization. It is quite literally the lifeblood that keeps the whole corporate machine running.
Now, word forms matter immensely here, and this is a fantastic test for your English listening skills. Think about how one single root word branches out. You analyze a company's finances, plural, to understand its current situation. You secure financing, a gerund, to figure out how a specific new project is actually going to be paid for. You pitch your grand idea to a financier, the high-level person providing the capital. Or you might seek out FDI, foreign direct investment, to grow your operations across borders. Using the correct form of the word is exactly what separates intermediate speakers from truly advanced communicators.
And finally, Section 5, Navigating Business Etiquette.
Soft skills. These can honestly be the trickiest part of mastering any language because it requires you to understand unspoken cultural boundaries. Navigating these reveals an incredibly fine line in business English. The exact same behavior can be described with vastly different vocabulary depending entirely on your perspective. For example, saying exactly what you think, that can be praised as being direct, sincere, or efficient. But, and this is a big but, if you misread the room, that exact same behavior gets criticized as tactless, rude, or acerbic. Being adaptable can be seen as flexible and proactive, or negatively as undisciplined and disorganized. And being friendly might make you sociable and congenial, or, on the flip side, a time waster who's just overfamiliar. Choosing the right adjective reveals not just what happened, but your professional judgment of the entire situation.
So, how do we ensure good etiquette, especially in international contexts where English is the bridge language? The source material notes a few key rules to live by. First, manage your physical proximity. Stand at a reasonable, comfortable distance and maintain good eye contact. Second, show appropriate deference or respect. Be really careful not to act overfamiliar with senior colleagues. And third, steer entirely clear of difficult, sensitive subjects like workplace politics. Mastering this specific vocabulary helps you not just speak English, but truly belong in a global business environment.
I want to leave you with this provocative thought straight from the source material to test out your new vocabulary. Think about the ethics of the digital workplace for a second. Is it acceptable to download music and films from file-sharing sites? How would you articulate your stance using the advanced terms we discussed today, like bandwidth, ethics, and corporate culture? Actually practice framing your argument out loud. Thanks so much for joining this explainer. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep elevating that professional vocabulary.